India is all set to host the G20 Summit. The conference will be hosted in India's capital, New Delhi, and the two-day summit will take place on the 9th and 10th of September. Almost 40 leaders from across the world will be attending. India's Prime Minister Narendra Modi has said that this year's G20 Summit will witness the highest attendance among world leaders. G20 nations represent 85% of the global GDP, and these nations comprise two-thirds of the global population. The leaders who will attend are representing their people, and their presence means a lot for their nations. So who exactly is attending?
Stands eroded.
Some of the major world leaders who will be in New Delhi are US President Joe Biden, UK's Prime Minister Rishi Sunak, and French President Emmanuel Macron. This will be South Korean President Yoon Suk-yeol's first visit to India. The Association of Southeast Asian Nations will also be attending. They'll be represented by Indonesian President Joko Widodo. Saudi Arabia's Crown Prince Mohammed bin Salman will be present too. After the G20 summit, he will reportedly begin his official state visit to India. Prime Ministers of Japan, Australia and Italy have also confirmed their participation. They will be in India next week, and New Delhi can't wait for the grand show. This brings us to the next question. Which leaders are skipping the summit? First is Russian President Vladimir Putin. He personally dialed Indian Prime Minister Narendra Modi to confirm that he will not be attending. Instead, Russia will be represented by their Foreign Minister Sergei Lavrov. Ukraine's President Volodymyr Zelensky will also not attend. This is because India has not extended a special invite to Ukraine. Ukraine is not a part of G20. However, Kyiv has received special invites in the past. According to reports, Chinese President Xi Jinping is likely to skip the G20 summit. Reports say that Chinese Premier Li Qiang will represent Beijing instead. Mexico's President Andrés Manuel López Obrador has declined his invite. Instead, he'll be represented by Mexico's Minister of Economy. India has also invited 9 other nations as guests. Inviting guest nations is routine for the G20 summit hosts. Spain will attend as a permanent guest of the G20. Some of the other guests include Bangladesh, Egypt, the UAE, and Nigeria. New Delhi has invited guests that represent Asia, Africa, and Europe. To host the G20 summit, India is making all sorts of arrangements. Thousands of hotel rooms have been booked for delegates. And to accommodate aircraft parking, flights into New Delhi have been cancelled. The government has also declared a holiday in the national capital. India is eager to lead this year's G20 summit, and New Delhi hopes to take the G20 group to new heights. And the Indian government gets ready to roll out the red carpet.